Happy Feeding Tube Awareness Week! At least in the US. Hi, my name's Banana, and a little thing about me is that I have a feeding tube. In this short video, I'm gonna just be giving a basic overview of what feeding tubes are, and why people use them, and just a basic rundown, you know. First and foremost, let's explain what a feeding tube is. It's a medical device that's basically like a little flexible tube that can either go in your jejunum or into your stomach. People have this because they can't get nutrition properly, and there's different kinds of feeding tubes that someone can have. They can have a feeding tube where it enters their nose and it can either go into their stomach or their jejunum, or one that requires you getting a little hole in your stomach. People usually have this because they have stomach paralyzation, aka gastroparesis, but that's not the only reason someone can have a feeding tube. It's used with people who have cancer, eating disorders, neurological disorders like having a stroke or having paralysis, and many more reasons. What a feeding tube is not is something to use to lose weight when you don't have anything wrong with you. For me though, none of these reasons explain why I have a feeding tube. It's very unique, and I haven't seen anyone else have a feeding tube for this same reason. I have a feeding tube because I have extreme sensory issues. Basically, the thought of eating food with the texture of pizza, salad, ice cream, those textures, yeah, I can't handle those. But I also can't live off of my safe food, which is very unhealthy. Now, how do I get the food into my stomach with the feeding tube? Do I use a pump? The answer is yes. As far as I know of personally, there's only two kinds of pumps, the Kangaroo Joey and the Enterolite Infinity pump. I sadly do not know anything about the Joey pump, but I know that basically does the same thing as the Enterolite pump. There are videos you can watch about the Joey, so yeah, take it away, Real Life Ann. Thank you, Pony Ann. Hi everyone, Real Life Ann here. Today, I'm going to be showing you the basic anatomy of the Enterolite pump. So, this is a sticker. It doesn't come with this. This is a custom-made one I got on Etsy. When you open this, you can attach this little stretchy thing on the medical bag onto here, and then you close it, and a little wheel here starts rolling when the pump's turned on. Now, to turn the pump on, you hold this down for 3 seconds. It is going to make a loud noise. I forgot to mention. So this is for my rating personally, so it's going to vary for anyone else. But for me, this is mine. This button is where you prime the feed. And priming a feed is when you get all the supplements or whatever's in the bag you have through the medical lining. So then there's no air in your lining. This one is where you check your rate and dose. The rate is how fast the pump goes. So the limit is like 600 for this. The dose is how much it goes up to. And once it hits 200, that means your feed is done. This is to clear it, so if you want to restart your feed and don't want to leave off where you're at, you can hit clear. This is like a pause button and a play button. So you can pause the feed if you need to like go do something, and you can hit continue when you want to continue doing your feed. This is to make the rate go up or down. Mine's staying like this though. By the way, there is a trick, just in case you want to know. There is a way to turn off the alarm, only for when your feeds are done, not anything else though. So what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to make sure the pump is off. You're gonna hold down the on and off button and the plus button at the same time. And this will take you to the alarm setting. So mine's on beep low, and we're gonna check the other ones. So we'll hit prime, and then it'll say unlock, and then mute. Mute when done. It says mute when done. There's also a light off button. I'm not sure what that one does, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, beep low, that's mine. So yeah. Oh, and there's one more thing I would like to recommend for this at least. Get a pump holder. I cannot tell you how portable this is. Like, it's so portable. You can carry it like a bag anywhere you go. You can hang it up in the car, you can hang it up in your room, on like anything that has like a hook thing that you can put onto. And this is for the bag, by the way. This is for the bag. I love this. I would recommend getting one for you if you have a feeding tube, or if for someone you know that has a feeding tube. Also, the rate and dose, those are my settings. It doesn't have to be your settings or the settings of the person you know or anything. That's just mine. That's all I want to mention. Back to you, Pony Ann. Thank you, Real Life Ann. Really informative. Now, if you or someone you know or someone you take care of has a feeding tube, here are things I would personally recommend. First up, feeding tube pads, but more so specifically, I would recommend getting the ones with the little fun patterns. You can get these on Etsy. They're soft and they absorb anything dirty and make sure the feeding tube doesn't get infected. Port covers, so then if something leaks, it'll get in the port and it won't, leak out onto the floor. A specific backpack for your feeding stuff. You can get an actual one made for that stuff, or you can make your own. All you really need to do is cut a little hole, like on the back of the backpack, and maybe you could add a hook so you can hang the pump bag on it. Oh, and get a medical cart so you can put all your supplies in there. And now for my ultimate favorite, drum roll please. A pump charger where you can just plug in your USB-C phone cord and your pump charges. This is because pump chargers are usually long and thick and it's just a mess in my opinion. No hate to them. This one's just more easier and you can put it in like a bag and all you have to do is just bring a phone cord. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments and I am happy to answer. This is Banana signing off for the day. Bye!
Yeah!